Hello everyone. Please hear me out. But first I would like to say a big thank you to all the subscribers. Much respect to you all. I think I am going to start thanking people by mentioning their first name as they join. Just the first name. Thank you, Aisha. Aisha joined on Saturday. What a week it has been. The disaster of the mid-air collision in Washington, D.C. And then Trump rounding up illegal immigrants. And not to mention the tough tariffs Trump has subjected to Canada and Mexico. Complete madness. All that said, we are heading to Africa. The problem with Africa is to put military people as leaders. Leaders who turn out in the long run to become dictators. Yes, I am talking about the Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The M23 and all other many rebel players are affecting peace in the region. The unrest in the DRC has been going on for just over 30 years. Something that started as a tribal fight, if you will, has now turned to something for sinister. What are the groups fighting for in DRC really? The straight answer is that they are fighting for the fertile land and natural resources. This is the sad reality. Rwanda has very limited mineral resources and appears almost at the bottom of the mineral producers in Africa. Quite strange. In 2022, the United Nations experts said they had solid evidence that Rwandan troops were present in the eastern DRC, providing support to M23 rebels. The Tutsi group re-emerged in 2021 with increasingly sophisticated firepower and equipment, fighting the Congolese army and its allies in the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda, the latter said to include Hutu killers from the 1994 Rwandan genocide in its ranks. Unable to restore peace, DRC President Felix Tshisekedi called upon fighters to rally against the M23 3 years ago, bringing together a motley crew of local defense and armed groups under the umbrella of the Wazalendo, Swahili for patriots. The role of the Wazalendo, untrained and traumatized by previous brutality, adds to an already toxic brew of national and ethnic rivalries. Now M23 rebels, which are allegedly supported by the Rwandan forces, have taken over Goma, the provincial capital North Kivu, controlling the 3T supply routes. The M23 allegedly not only deletes people, but shamelessly mishandle women and young girls, as a way of humiliating people, and also a way to make them lose all dignity, and so feel obliged to leave to go far away. The area near to the mines is then left free for the M23 and their sponsor Major Kigali to share the spoils of war in full measure. To fully understand all this madness, probably we need to go back to February 2024, when the European Union signed a deal with Rwanda regarding sustainable raw materials. The agreement aims to secure a sustainable supply of raw materials for the EU by supporting Rwanda's mineral supply chains and infrastructure development. This deal is considered part of the EU's Global Gateway Initiative, a €300 billion infrastructure partnership plan. As the Green Revolution revs up, the European Union has signed a deal with Rwanda that will ensure a supply of precious minerals needed to build clean tech like solar panels and electric vehicles. As the European Commission described it, after inking a memorandum of understanding back in February, the deal will nurture sustainable and resilient value chains for critical raw materials. But all is not as it seems. It turns out that Rwanda is a country that exports more than it mines. Vast amounts of minerals like coltan and gold are smuggled from the war-ravaged Democratic Republic of the Congo to Rwanda, where they enter global supply chains. This racket has been extensively documented by the United Nations experts reporting on the DRC war, a spillover from the Rwandan genocide, which has dragged on nearly for 3 decades, the outside world largely ignorant of the widespread use of rape to subjugate enemies and the massacres that have deleted a staggering 6 million plus people. The DRC says M23 rebels, who claim they are protecting local Tutsis from the Hutu genocidaires in the resource-rich East, play an instrumental role in moving the goods over Lake Kivu. The DRC accuses Rwanda of backing the M23, an allegation Rwanda has consistently denied. Last year, the Congolese finance minister Nicolas Kazadi said his country's economy was losing $1 billion a year in minerals through the illicit trade. There is not shortage of evidence that conflict minerals are not only fueling the fighting but also tainting supply chains. The EU is playing double standards. The EU has condemned Rwanda's role in the war, and yet actively going after the spoils. The way Rwanda has been treated is similar to the way that Israel is being treated by the Western world. Rwanda is the Israel of Africa. Double standards are very much at play. America, England, Germany, and France are all helping Rwanda in one way or the other. Rwanda has a bad record on human rights but is overlooked. Rwanda is helping the M23, and all it gets is a slap on the wrist. Rwanda is committed, and it will do anything to fulfill the needs of the Western countries. Money talks. This is one of the reasons why African countries will never be able to see real peace. The peace we see in the West. Wave $1 to a majority of African leaders, and they will fall for it. With all the millions that Rwanda is receiving every year, how come that it is only Kigali which is clean and well looked after? The rest of the rural areas live in poverty. Only Paul Kagame will be able to fully explain that. Yes, in the West, Rwanda is today largely perceived as a beacon of progress. The country is in excellent terms with Brussels. In 2002, the EU gave Rwanda 20 million euros through its European Peace Facility mechanism to beat back armed groups in Mozambique, thus securing the site of a gas project that was being built by France's Total. The relationship between Brussels and Kigali is deep. It speaks of achieving sustainable and responsible production through increased due diligence and traceability, cooperation in fighting illegal trafficking of raw materials, and alignment with international environmental, social, and governance standards. If this is so, then Paul Kagame should be arrested and charged for selling minerals which are not available in Rwanda to Europe. Europe too is guilty for facilitating the process. Let us carry on. Not long ago, the issue of tainted supply chains came under the spotlight when lawyers acting for the DRC government warned Apple that it could face legal action if it carried on purchasing blood minerals smuggled from the embattled East Congo to Rwanda. The formal notice to the tech giant could exert pressure on the European Commission to review its plans. European officials working in the DRC themselves disapproved of the deal, said Mark Botenga, a member of the European Parliament with the Belgian Workers' Party, who wants to see the deal scrapped. When you make this kind of deal, it's basically saying to Rwanda, we are perfectly fine with what you are doing, and we are going to encourage you. The European community should think long and hard about supporting Rwanda, as so many children and adults have lost their lives in this mindless game. It is a high time Europe stopped treating Africans as subhumans who have no say or redress. It is a high time that the African nations sat down and discussed about how to stop fellow African leaders from abusing their fellow Africans. Paul Kagame has a thing or two to learn from the young Burkina Faso leader, Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré has the guts to say no to America or Europe without any fear whatsoever. Ibrahim Traoré knows what is right for his fellow citizens. Ibrahim Traoré thinks of Africa as a whole. Please do share what you think about this important topic. Sharing ideas makes us grow every day. Thank you so much for your time. Please feel free to suggest any topic that you might like us all to have a discussion on. Catch you in the next one. May God bless Africa.